is up, my dudes? Back at it again with another video. We're gonna get the hatch, trying to get the hatch dialed in. This video is gonna take about a week to make because we have to order parts. So today, we're gonna try and get this bitch dialed in. So what we have to do right now is we're going to pull the intake, all the intercooler piping. We're gonna pull the rad out, the hot side. We're gonna pull everything out. I need to get the, I need to get this painted. I need to get the bottom feet painted. I need to get this painted. We need to pull off the exhaust side, get all the gaskets in, the hot stuff. I need to pull off the compressor housing, weld the hole closed, drill and tap. We have to clock the center housing, and then basically little stuff. We are picking up some fuel line for this car. We're gonna be trying to do an 8 AN return and feed. Figure we might as well do it now while we're here because we don't want to be limited down the road with the stock fuel lines. So might as well, right? So we're gonna be picking up some fuel lines. So today we're gonna pull all this off. I'm gonna get a list of what we need. I'm gonna finish tidying up some stuff. I didn't tell you guys, but when we installed the traction bar, these bolts aren't the factory bolts because we couldn't find them. So we bought ones with the same thread pattern, and for whatever reason the nuts up here broke loose. So I had to cut those open, to weld the nut still, and then finish tightening these two. These two on this side went in fine, but these two did that weird shit. So we need to try and find some coolant hoses. I have the whole bin over there full of coolant hoses, so we have to do that. The car still needs a catch can. I still have to build a catch can for it, which is not, it's not gonna be a hassle really, but we have to get that done. So there's a good bit of things done, but in this video, we're gonna pull everything off. We're gonna finalize a lot of stuff with paint, put hot stuff gaskets on, you know, normal stuff like that. Get everything pretty much dialed so that in the next video, hopefully we can get the exhaust, the fuel lines. Maybe the fuel lines will be in this video, not sure yet. But we can get the exhaust finished, we can get the catch can and the bungs welded on, and get a start, man. I'm really excited. This thing is like this close to being finished. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna start pulling off all this stuff, and we can get to finalizing. All right, she is stripped. We got the hot side off, we got the intake off, we got the intercooler piping off, everything. I'm gonna get these areas painted, get the feet painted for the intercooler. I also need to get this bracket painted. Then we can start doing basically everything else. So I'm gonna hang those up real quick, paint them, give you guys a look, and yeah. Alright, so I took my little can here with my spray gun attachment. I went to work. Got the front end, I mean, you know, just the pieces that I needed painted. I accidentally got some overspray on the traction bar, but you know, I don't think Carl's gonna be too mad about that. We're getting shit done. And it's not really gonna be seen. It'll probably get scratched up because it's low to the ground either way. And I got the bracket that mounts the intercooler, holds it still. I got that painted. A little pay booth, you know what I'm saying? So I forgot to mention, we also probably gonna add some bracing from the wastegate to the manifold, because this is not schedule like 10 or schedule 40. It's just like regular exhaust tubing almost, and it's not thick enough. I think the wastegate will cause it to break, so We're going to add some gussets, some struts or whatever here, and maybe one underneath to help hold it up, basically, and keep it from cracking or breaking. Really quickly, I don't think I showed you guys this, but I did make an idler control valve block-off plate. Shaped it out, put holes in it, and it lined up pretty good. And then I have clear RTV as a gasket. But I just tried fitting the manifold after I just installed the TPS, and Skunk 2, what are you doing? You did not state on your site it would not fit EF. This thing touches the firewall. So the TPS touches the firewall right here. I'll never buy a Pro Series manifold, ever in my fucking entire life. Anyways, we'll figure that out at a later time, but I'm gonna keep cracking with this. The paint's drying, so it's almost dry. Once it's finished drying, I can put the intercooler back on. Right now, I'm probably going to pull off the compressor housing. As you can see, this hole here, I am going to weld it closed, drill it, and tap it. I need to get a tap though, so I'll probably just weld it closed for now, and then when I get the tap for 1/8 NPT, I have to try and find it, because we did get the push lock style fittings. That'll be our source. I'm gonna have one in there, and then I'll have one in the top, the bottom of the gate, so that we can just run off gate for now, and then once it's broke in on gate, then we can put the solenoid in and turn up the boost. The 5-6 psi spring that I bought is too big. Like actual, like physical size is too large for the gate, which is stupid because I ordered a 44mm wastegate 5 psi spring. It's too big, so I'm gonna have to find another one. But yeah, we're gonna I'm gonna try and find a low psi spring. That way we can tune it on low boost, get all the tables touched. So yeah, let's just keep cracking. Whew. That's a billet wheel, guys. God damn, I didn't realize that. Shoo! Alright, so this is the hole that someone fucked up when they put the 90-degree thing in here. And I'm gonna just try and clean it as best I can and weld the top portion closed. And then from there, we can drill it and tap it again. Okay, so I got it about as clean as I can get it. I'm gonna start trying to fill inside there. I just want to fill it to get it clean again, so that I can make some threads to tap into. So I'm not gonna, I might fill it up all the way, I might not, but all I know is that I need to get some material in there so that I can thread, drill tap and thread an 1/8 inch NPT. So I'm not gonna record this because I don't know how long it's gonna take. I'm just gonna try and get it done real quick and show you the aftermath. Alright, so I got it welded up. I got one of our fittings in here already. It already had like tape on it, so I just screwed it in. It's snug, it's tight. I did go a little deep with the drill. Hopefully this doesn't cause a leak here. But as I'm looking through these holes that hold the turbo clocked, the end where the threads end look like it all feeds into, at least this one, and I think that's all, but this one and this one feed into the compressor housing. So I'm gonna put tape on all of them because I don't want anything to leak out of there, and hopefully that doesn't cause us a leak. There's a seal here, but yeah. So that's done, and I was looking at our wastegate because I wanted to put another fitting on there, and this thread is not 1/8 inch NPT. I don't know what it is, but as you can see, the thread is a lot larger. So I was like, man, what if I drill and tap? But as you can see, these threads are large. It's too big for this hole. If I were to drill and tap, I may fuck up any other part of it. So I'm thinking to myself, like, if I fuck this up, I can't sell it. So we may need to get a new gate. This is a universal eBay chompy, so yeah. But at least the turbo's done and that's sealed. So I'm gonna go ahead, clean this up, clean the seal, oil it, put it back on, and then we can clock it get along with our stuff. All right, I talked to Carlos. We are gonna get a different gate. I got some new hardware for the turbo because I was missing one, so I just grabbed some bolts. They're the same thread, they fit in good. And as you can see inside here, if you can see, which you can't, but this hole and this hole feed into the housing. So I'm gonna tape these two and put them back in. Also, this is a ball bearing turbo, and if you know anything about ball bearing turbos, which I've been learning, the oil does not cool the turbo. The oil is just there to lubricate the turbo, and if you don't cool the turbo, it's gonna fail. So I was given this by my buddy Evan. He sold us the turbo, the water lines. So what I'm going to do, because I don't have, this will basically be the feed, and I don't have a way to return the coolant back to the cooling system. So what I'm going to do is, this will be the feed from the block to the turbo, and then I have this drain line here, which is going to be the drain for the coolant. And I am going to use the drain plug on the rad, find a barb, and then mate hose from the end of this to the bottom of the radiator. And this will then pull coolant from the block through the turbo to the bottom of the radiator. And then we'll have a water-cooled turbo. I'm excited about that. I wasn't really expecting to do that, but learning what I've learned, you need to do that with ball bearing, or else, I mean, it may last for a little bit, but it's gonna end up frying itself. So I have to get a fitting for that. I have to find out the thread pattern. So we won't have a coolant drain on the radiator. We'll just have to pull off one of our lines. Yeah. So what I'm gonna have is just coolant hose from the end of this to the barb that's on there, and then hopefully we don't have any issues. I'm gonna wrap the coolant line too, and hopefully it never pops off. I'm gonna use clamps and worm clamps just to, you know, make it nice and snug. We'll see the fitment of it whenever we put it on, but yeah. All right, I just came back from the store, picked up the hose barb. It is the correct size. Now the only thing I'm worried about is it leaking, so I'm gonna tape it. And then these lines, I mean, this style fitting, you don't need to tape because of the way that it threads in. Like, it threads in, then it gets tight because the threads aren't like the exact size. They're a little bit off to add a taper so that it like seals itself. But I'm gonna throw some tape on it anyways. Throw this bitch in there, and then once we have the hot side on, we can see how much hose we need and where it needs to route. The only thing I'm worried about, this hose is the this is gonna be here, and you can see where the dump tube had actually been, I smacked it there by accident. So it's gonna be around here somewhere. So just gotta make sure that we route the line so it doesn't burn. All right guys, I gotta get some shit done, so you're on my head right now. So this is how the coolant line is gonna be set up. This one will be onto the block, which I will tighten up. Get this snug. I don't think we need any thread tape on it. I think these seal by themselves. So I'm not sure exactly the rotation of this yet, so I'm gonna leave it kind of loose, and then we'll get it tight when it's on, when the hot side is on the car. So that'll be like that. Got the T-fitting on the back. We're not gonna be running the stock sensor, which is right here. I gotta try and find a way to ground that sensor so the dash light goes off. And we'll just be monitoring our oil pressure from the gauge, because we have to order an oil pressure gauge as well. So this will be our feed, this will go to the block, and then this will be our oil pressure gauge that feeds inside the car. I'm actually gonna put thread tape on this. Thread tape on. Okay, so this is an old exhaust manifold gasket, and I think, I mean, it's only one layer. We're gonna just reuse it just because we do some shit around here. It's unorthodox, and I think it'll work, but if it doesn't work, we can always replace it. So, boom. Alright, I did forget that I wanted to put gussets on this. Me and Carlos talked about it. We thought that obviously, because this is not scheduled, that we need to support it so it doesn't crack. So I got 2 up here. They don't look the greatest, but they're there. And I have 1 underneath here on the bottom. So I'm thinking that'll work. Okay, she's tight. Okay, I am going to shorten this coolant line. Basically, I'm gonna just kind of like route it to where it would go, and like I'm gonna keep this 90 on it. So figure, well, I guess I do have to clock this first. I'll have to put the intercooler in place, put this coupler on, this piece right here, clock the turbo. Loosen these pieces, turn the housing so that I can get the center straight up and down, and then I can fix where the line's gonna go, shorten it or whatever, and then this line will come down like this and go to the barb on the radiator. Hopefully this is short enough. Alright, turbo's tight, turbo's clocked. I'm gonna pull out the intercooler again, and the first tube here. I'm gonna pull it out. We can start trying to get this rear coolant line hooked up, and get the radiator in and get the drain set up. And from there, I just have to verify that the restrictor that's in here is gonna be good. I believe I have a 3AN feed, -3AN. Yeah, I think this is a -3, and this is a 0.065 or 0.063 restrictor. So I have to figure out if this is gonna work. I have to call a few people yet. If it does, I'm just gonna hook it right up and be fine. If not, then we'll have to get a different line. But yeah, I'm gonna go home today, come back tomorrow, and bang this shit out, cuss. All right, we back. Let's keep it going. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to use tape on that for coolant or for this even type of barb fitting. It seemed like it got tight, so the threads should seal itself, but I mean, you can't go hurt with a little more insurance. I mean, you can't go wrong with a little bit more insurance, right? Okay, now we want to see how long we're gonna have to make this coolant feed line. We can see that the port's back here, if you can see that. So I'm thinking with this, I have a 90 up there that I'm going to be using. With a 90 on it, I mean, even if it goes down a little bit, it's still feeding, right? It doesn't like it have to go up or anything. I'm thinking I could probably cut it like right there. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so to cut this so I don't fray anything, I'm going to put some tape over it and just cut right in the middle of the tape. That should work. Let's get some tape on it. Okay, pull it off and cut it. Okay, I got it cut. I don't know if you're supposed to remove the tape or not, but I'm going to. Hopefully this doesn't make it really hard to deal with. Either way, I'm gonna have to make it work. So looks clean, fairly clean cut, you know. So fucking tape. Cool. This seems easy. Might be easy to make these lines then too, huh? Guess we'll find out. All right, let's see if she fits. Well, the feed is on. It looks pretty good. I mean, it does go down a little, but it's feed. So, yeah, let's tighten this up. All right, so this tube was too small. Use the bigger one. This will be like this, and our dump tube should clear. I'm gonna try and wrap this in something, maybe the exhaust wrap, just to keep it away from the heat a little bit. Obviously, it's gonna get hot with exhaust, but it's gonna be even hotter when the wastegate opens and you're in boost. So I don't want it to melt that, but that's how that'll be. I need to get some clamps, and we should be golden. Now we are using older hoses. We are going to change this out in the future, but currently this is what we have, and this is what we're going to use. This is the B17 hose that came with my swap whenever I got it. So throw this on there. See how she looks. Oh man, again, skunk too. What's up? D16 hoses. I was able to manage to get this one on. They're too small. They go on the housings to fit on the thing. I tried heating up the hose, and it just it won't move, dude. It won't fucking move. So we need to get hoses. So I'm taking these bitches off because I fucking hate this shit. So we'll get hoses for that. As far as the hot side, what we need is, I swear I had a turbo drain, but I can't find it. So we need to get a drain. I have the hose over here. I have the drain hose. I just need the thing to go on there, and then we can, you know, put it on, tighten it down, cut it to fit, put it on there, and we should be good. On a positive note, we got the water lines hooked up. I need 2 clamps. That will be golden. Yeah, this video is going to span maybe a week or so, so no big deal. I don't really know what else I could hook up at the moment. I still have to figure out if this restrictor's okay. Yeah, so hook up some of these hoses, I guess. We might have to replace this one too because it feels soft up here, so just have to be careful with that one. All right, so if this line does work and this restrictor is good here, I'll probably have the line like get like a nut and like a tire somehow and get this here so that it's away from the heat, it's away from the intercooler piping, and the it's not going to touch any of the belts or anything. So this would probably would come up like this, and I would mount it somehow like that, not like that. Looks good. Yeah, so, but we still have to make sure if that's the right restrictor or not. All right, Carlos just showed up, and we had to massage. It's a very, very sad day. We're gonna clean this up though, so looks better, but we massaged this for our TPS because we wouldn't have been able to plug in our TPS sensor. This hurts my feelings, but you know, it's whatever. Okay, I don't know how long this video is, but it's probably gonna be pretty long. Update though, we got our 8 AN fuel lines and fittings. We got our 10 AN fuel lines and fittings for the catch can. That's for fuel. We got our hoses. These are B series hoses. We're gonna have to make them fit to the D series, which is okay. We have our drain bung for the turbo. We have our IAT bung for the intercooler piping, which, because I'm relocating the intake air temp sensor down to on the intercooler piping up front instead of on the manifold. I also got to make a block off plate for that. We also received a new wastegate. The old wastegate had these fittings, which I could not use with our 1/8 NPT push lock fittings. So we got a tile rep, I believe this is, it's from eBay, but the ports are the right size. It came with a small spring, this spring, and this spring inside. And I ordered this spring, which was, I believe, a 6 PSI spring, but I have the smallest spring in there right now. When the car's up and running, we'll see what PSI that spring is. We'll swap out the different springs, we'll try them so that we can build up the boost level, get the fuel dialed, and then we'll go from there with the boost controller. But so yeah, got the gate, got the lines, we got the drain, we got the IAT bung. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys back on my head again. I do have to pull the intercooler off to get the drain on for the turbo. Make that up, and we're golden. We're gonna start putting everything back on. We still are waiting for an oil pressure gauge. So I got the T on for the feed, but the oil pressure gauge will probably go right here. And then we'll have to somehow ground out our sensor so that the light goes off on the dash. So yeah, let's get cracking. Alright, we got our push lock fitting in here. This 90 will go down to source, which is right on the turbo housing. And we're golden. We do need to get the nylon tubing yet. I got our downpipe and our gate positioned where they need to be. I mean, our dump tube and our gate positioned where they need to be. Everything looks pretty good, to be honest. So the gate came with these plugs. I'm capping off the bottom ports because we need to have a way to seal the bottom for the air so that we can have our source open the gate. And then I'm only putting one, there's 2 ports in the top, one at the top and then one on the face. This port opening is damaged, but we're not going to use the top because we really don't need it. But we're going to plug the top only because I don't want air and water coming straight into it from outside. So this will be plugged just so no debris gets in. It still has an opening so the gate can move and air can be pushed out of here, and it's not going to hold the gate closed. And then these 2 are on here so that we can have our source open the gate. There are 2 more ports on here, and they're water ports. This gate can be water cooled, but we're not going to need to use that. So I'm not even going to do anything with those. So we're good. So like we said before, these are B series hoses. I didn't want to fight with the single cam stuff to get it on here because it was a fucking cunt. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to basically mock this up, cut this right at this turn, and then we should have everything it should be able to make this curve, and then we can just clamp it down with some worm clamps. So Man, I hope this seals. I really do. I think it's gonna seal. We'll find out for sure. Now this back hose, it's supposed to go like this. It's a little like long, like it makes a long routing. I think because on the B series, the housing is further back. So I'm gonna trim this down a little bit and trim this down a little bit to try and get it sunk in so it's away from the intercooler piping a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna do that and we'll get it on there. All right, so I did shorten it on both ends, but I think I'm gonna take it even further to about here. That way I can just, this will be right tucked inside here, because right now it's sitting on the distributor and I don't like that. So I'm gonna take this corner off and get this right down inside here like that. That way it's tucked in lower and fits a little better. All right, coolant hoses are on to the radiator. This one goes to the intake manifold, and this one will probably be looped to something else because we aren't using this one, so, or cap it, one of the two. I don't know if I told you guys, but when we put the traction bar on, we went to tighten the two bolts down here, and the nuts inside spun when we got it close to being tight. So like we did with Frito's car, we got to cut a window in here and like tack the bolts down, and then once they're tacked down, then we can I'm gonna clean up the edges and weld the plate back over top so that it's sealed and it's not open. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quick, show you guys what it looks like whenever we have it open, and weld it back together. All right, got it cut open, and you can see that these pieces are supposed to hold this nut thingy down, and it doesn't. I mean, it should, but for some reason they come loose, and both of them have popped up. So what I'm gonna try and do is I'm going to hold them still, back the nuts out, back the bolts out, try to at least, and then move them to where they're square in the thing again. I'm gonna try and get them seated like OEM. If you guys can see that, just get them flat. And so yeah, I'm gonna get the bolts out and I'll show you when I'm finished. All right, so I know I said I would show y'all, but I basically just welded the tab back down that holds the thing, and then I also welded the thing to the tab, and I think welded the tab to the frame, or like the nut, for both of them. And then I took a sander thing, took the paint off, welded it back on, threw a coat of paint on it so it doesn't rust. So we should be good there. I'm sorry this video is everywhere today, guys, or in general. There's a lot of stuff we still got to do, and a lot of stuff we're waiting on and still have to buy yet. And not like a lot like major things, but we need a fuel filter, we need the hanger kit for the fuel lines, we need a throttle cable, a clutch cable. His speedo cable's pretty dick, so we need to replace that. So stuff like that. It's pretty much together. It's just we still got quite a few things to do. So this video already seems pretty long, so I'm gonna try and keep it short and just show you like snippets of everything, because this video seems like it's gonna be forever. Okay, so we basically got everything hooked up for the hot side. I did cut the dump tube because it was too long, so I'm gonna have to redo that whenever we make the exhaust, which is okay. I got our IAT sensor bung welded onto the intercooler piping, putting it out here instead of putting it on the manifold, which I made a block off plate and put an O-ring in there. Putting it up here will give us more accurate and stable intake air temperatures, so our fueling can be more on point. I pulled the harness through. I don't have the harness on yet. This video is extremely long, I believe, so I'm probably just going to end it here because we still are waiting on stuff. We're still waiting on stuff for the fuel system. We have the lines, but we need the fuel hanger kit. Then we have to run the lines. So I'm probably going to have a fuel system video. That way we're hooking up stuff with the tank, the pump, relaying it, running the fuel lines, hooking the injectors up, putting the rail together, shit like that. And then the next video after that, or before that, will be welding the bungs on the valve cover and either making the catch can or installing the catch can and making the lines for the catch can. I kind of want to break it up into small sections like that because this video is just super long and it's everywhere. I don't even know what I'm going to title this thing. So, yeah. So, I don't know if I showed you or remember if I showed you, but we also got the bolts welded. I patched it back up, painted it, so that's good. It's looking really good, guys. We still have to wrap the downpipe, wrap the dump tube, and yeah. So we got our new gate on, like I said, like I showed you guys. We got the fittings in it. It's looking really good. Taking a while, just because everything costs money, and you run out of money sometimes. So yeah, the next video will either be the fuel system video or the catch can video, and then once those pieces are done, we should be able to get a first start. We do not have to finish the exhaust to get a first start, but we can at least get a first start in. I do want to make the downpipe at least a little bit longer so that we can sample the AFR better and we can dial in some of the fueling a little bit with the cold start, just a little bit first start. We obviously don't want a super rich or a super lean, so I might extend the downpipe or make the downpipe till right underneath the car. But yeah, that's all for this one, guys. I apologize if this video is kind of shitty. I apologize if this shit is everywhere. Yeah, that's just the way that it rolls sometimes. So I hope to catch you on the next one, guys. Stay tuned. We got the first start thing coming for this, and the Miata's finished. We're gonna get that out of here really quickly. I'm gonna show you guys something that I'm gonna unveil in the next video or whatever, that I'll explain more. My buddy picked up an EF hatch with a full H series swap. It's not complete or anything, but it has the motor, trans, and the axles are in. The person previously was going to put a full Prelude harness, like underdash and engine harness, in the car to try and run the motor. Overdoing it. But the car sat for 2 years, so we got a lot of work to do with this. A lot of work, so be prepared for that. But yeah, that's all for this one, guys. Hope to catch you on the next one. Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all for the support. A few more months and we'll be getting on the wrecks. Gotta get my brother's Accord done. Man, stay tuned, guys. I'll check you on the next one. Deuces.